Facebook Live, good morning. It is Eunice LaFate, owner of LaFate Gallery, located at 227 North Market Street in Wilmington, Delaware. The gallery is more than a gallery, it is a vision center. And that's why my videos are always something visionary. And this morning, we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. And today, I am shining the spotlight on the role of grandmothers in history, the historical role of grandmothers. They have played a dynamic role throughout history. I know we have Mother's Day, we also have Grandmother's Day, but as part of women's history, I am recognizing grandmothers. So to all the grandmothers out there who have worked so hard that their daughters who are career trapped or who are in various careers, to help them to succeed, grandmothers have played a phenomenal role in helping their daughters to succeed in their careers. And later on in my video, I will recognize a historic grandmother. And I'm going to be sharing with you directly from my catalog of selected works and writings. The first 3 stories in this catalog recognize grandmother. And last week I shared with you the importance of my grandmother in my achievements. So that story was read to you last week. And then I'm going to be reading 2 other stories. So let's get ready to recognize the role, the important role of grandmothers in women's history. The music that you're hearing, let me acknowledge it before we go further. It is the music of Carpenter GMC Jazzo. It's a great album. It's actually what I use for my paint night. It is a very good, soothing album. And I purchased it on Amazon. So if you'd like to purchase the album, it is music to paint by. We're not painting this morning. But to honor grandmothers, I know when they are taking care of those children, they always sing those little rocking songs to put their grandchildren to bed. So that's why I chose this type of music. So we can turn the music down, and I'm going to be sharing with you 2 stories about the role of grandmothers from my book. And this is a catalog of selected works and writings. It contains 25 images and 25 stories. And as I said, the first 3 stories are about the role of grandma. You know, grandma, she's known by many, many names out there. An endearing name. Okay, actually, my granddaughters, the oldest one, Niala, she gave me a name. She called me Nene. And you know, all grandchildren make up names for their grandmother. Or, well, we're not talking about grandparents. Later on, for example, when we get to June and we're recognizing fathers, we'll talk about grandfather. But today, in women's history, it is about grandmother. Okay, so let me first share with you the images of the stories that I'll be reading. This image, and you may never have seen it before. I don't show a lot of my work because I have so many, 28 years of work. This piece is titled With Grandma. And this piece, which I've posted before, and it gets a lot of likes. This piece is titled Spending Quality Time. Grandmother spending quality time. And we're going to get into that quality time because that is important if she's going to raise her granddaughters to be great in women's history. Then she has to spend that quality time and supervise them. So, let me read from my catalog of selected works and writings. If you're just joining me, again, my name is Eunice LaFate, owner of LaFate Gallery Vision Center. And I'm an award-winning folk artist. I'm a writer. I wear many, many different hats. And I am passionate about the role of women in our society. And since we are celebrating Women's History Month, I'm taking time out to recognize the grandmothers who have done a phenomenal job so that their daughters can hold their careers and so that their granddaughters can grow up to be great women. So let's get to reading now. Two of the stories about Grandma. I read the one about my mom last week. And just a recap of that, she was a great storyteller. She and my dad raised 10 children and educated us with very poor means, but yes, education was very important. And teaching us about our heritage. I am so grateful for that because my mother shaped me for this country. Okay, so I'm going to be reading the story first on this image with Grandma. Over the past several decades, family life has changed significantly in the United States, maybe all over the world. Divorce, teenage pregnancy, and the return of women to full-time employment are just a few of the reasons why mothers are not always available to take care of their children as they would like to. As a result, grandmothers are accepting more and more of the child rearing responsibilities for their grandchildren. In this painting, a mother and granddaughter stand side by side. They stand side by side. Locked into this existence. This is a lifestyle that was not of their own choosing, yet they not only suffice, but mutually prosper from this opportunity to share their time and lives with each other, with Grandma. And the next story I wrote in my book, Spending Quality Time. Now, who remembers the old TV? Do you remember that old TV? Wow! You know, those were the great days. And look, let me discuss the image, because the message that I was trying to drive using this painting is that we cannot just leave children on their own. If children are entrusted to our care, we must care for them, supervise them, watch what they're watching. Yes. Well, that's good. Notice the images. There's something positive. Because if children are left on their own in this age of technology, oh, wow. It's just mind-boggling what kind of images they could be watching. So the good old TV on that stand. I have a joke about TV, the good old TV. And before I read the story, I'm going to give the joke. Now, back in the days, many homes didn't have TVs. I didn't grow up around TV either. till later in life. And the story is true of a family in Jamaica whose children brought home a TV to give them. And they were so excited about the TV. So one of the children who was cooking, preparing the meal, she said, well, the man on the TV must be hungry. We have to get him some food. He's been talking all morning. He must be hungry. That's exciting. And that's a true story. Okay, so back to the notice that grandma, she's reading a book. Her two grandchildren are sitting there watching TV, but she's there supervising them. So let me read the story. The pastel background of this painting is undeniably feminine, and it provides a comforting and nurturing environment for these children. They sit affectionately together, watching a television program while grandmother is close at hand to observe their choices. And that is the key, to observe their choices. So when those grandchildren are left with you, Grandma, you can't just turn the TV on and allow them to watch TV, because they could be watching something that is not very good for them. On the other hand, grandmother chooses reading for her leisure time, actively, subtly portraying its value and the enjoyment that can be derived from it. Occasionally, she finds an appropriate idea or a passage from her book worth sharing, and she does not hesitate to use it to create a dialogue with her grandchildren. It is through these talks that she has the opportunity to pass her family heritage and values onto this generation. Again, spending quality time. And this catalog is precious. Well, my grandchildren have it naturally, and over the years I've signed it to many families. It's a good reading material, very great stories with great values that should be shared with children, good for the coffee table. Now, I want to recognize a historic grandmother. Yes, and the Delmarva Quarterly in 2009 included a long story. They interviewed me, and they included a long story in their catalog. And here's what it says right here. First Lady Michelle Obama wrote a letter to LaFate in response to LaFate's book, thanking her for recognizing the importance of having an African-American grandmother in the White House. I must stand for this. So, I would like to recognize the first African grandmother in the White House, Marion Robinson, the mother of let me give her a title, the mother of former First Lady Michelle Obama and the grandmother of her two daughters, Malia and Sasha. And when they went to the White House, I thought I wanted to share this book with Mrs. Robinson, that's Michelle's mother. A vision. Yes, I had a vision. Let me share this book and thank her and recognize her for being the first African-American grandmother living in the White House. So I mailed it back in May of 2009, and a week or so after, I received a letter. Okay, the White House, May 28, 2009. Dear Eunice, I am pleased to write on behalf of my mother, who very much appreciated your thoughtful comments. We are blessed that my mother was able to come with us to the White House. It has made the transition from our home in Chicago so much easier for our family, especially our daughters. We all have settled quite smoothly into our new surroundings and routines, and my mother has been a steady hand throughout that process. A steady hand. I love that expression. So she helped to raise those two daughters, and they were pretty young when they went to the White House. I think Sasha was about 7. Okay, the letter continues. But even with many changes for our family, it's also clear that we are at a unique moment in our country's history. And so, in the spirit of the many generations of Americans whose labor and service made our nation great, I encourage you to find new ways to strengthen America by serving your community. I want to thank you for the work you are already doing, and know that your continued engagement is vital as we move forward together. Thanks again for writing. I wish all the best for you and those close to you. Sincerely, Michelle Obama. There we go. So, recognizing a historic grandmother, Marion Robinson, the mother of former First Lady. Yes, she did a stellar job in helping to raise those children, while Michelle had to handle the tasks of First Lady. And to all the women out there who are in career positions and who have succeeded because their mothers were there to help raise their children, I salute all grandmothers. Today is the day that I recognize grandmothers. I have some more images to share. I am very, very pleased to be able to come with my videos and to impart information that addresses our values, or the foundation on which our country rests. Our values are important, and women are important. Therefore, women deserve utmost respect. Let me get back to the subject that I dealt with yesterday. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and that day goes back all the way to 1911, when 15,000 women marched for equality, marched against long hours, low pay, and all the evils of that era. And we have come a long way. However, yes, we have a long way to go in terms of recognizing our women in various spectrums of life, in terms of administering equality, equity, inclusion. And I am big on diversity. All women reaching for the stars, let's go there. Yes, all women have that desire to reach for the stars. So let me share with you now. Now I'm transitioning to my commercials. I come over in these videos as this inspirational presenter, whatever you want to call me. But the bottom line is, I am the owner of a business. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a small, black-owned woman business. LaFate Gallery is entering its 28th year. It has been at this establishment storefront for the last 6 years. It was initially a home-based business, a business in name only, until I lost my late and dear husband to cancer 6 years ago, and the Lord gave me the vision to open this, and that is why it's a vision center. So one of the things that I have been doing since Women's History Month, this Saturday coming, is going to be very, very, very purposeful, because I gave gift certificates to young girls, and 4 young girls are coming here on Saturday to paint free. My program is called Mentoring the Sisters. Mentoring the Sisters, based on this painting right here. Mentoring the Sisters. And I have several limited edition prints of this painting. And all my work, well, not all. There is no limited edition of this. None of this either. However, I'm going to tell you how you can request it. What I'm doing now, I'm making them to order because I'm stuck with a lot of inventory. Let me tell you, based on the stories I read this morning, let me show you the products that go with them. Well, first and most important, storyteller. Yeah, I told you how my mom was a great storyteller. This piece is storyteller. And that's the price on it. Very affordable. Now, the first story I learned as a child was the 3 Little Pigs. Remember that the 3 Little Pigs? Yeah. So when I started painting, one of the first pieces I did was naturally the 3 Little Pigs. Grandma reading storybook about the 3 Little Pigs. And if you notice, I'm going to hold these two together because what was important in my upbringing was the material as well as the spiritual part of life. I got it all. Yes. So while we would read the storybooks, we also had our mom on a Sunday evening, she would read Bible stories to us. So this piece is Grandma's Story Time based on story. And this is Grandma's Story Time based on the Bible. See? And that's important. Or that was very, very important in our upbringing. So these pieces are available. They're available. They're if you go to, I'll tell you how you can purchase them. Okay. To purchase my work, you can come to the physical gallery located at 227 North Market Street in Wilmington, Delaware. Then to purchase the print online, you can go to www.lafategallery.com. So those are the pieces of work related to Grandma this morning. Spending quality time. It is important we spend quality time with our children. To inquire about my art, you can call area code 302-656-6786 or go online www.lafategallery.com, where you can purchase my work and I ship them to you free And my catalog is also on my website. So if you want to purchase this catalog for a child, I highly recommend this for all ages. And look, even if the child cannot read, you just turn the pages, look at the picture, and once they can communicate, you ask question, what is this? Or you explain. They don't have to be able to read. It is just about inspiring children. Maya Angelou, and Still I Rise. Every young girl should learn that poem by heart. As in, when they face difficulties, it will inspire them, motivate them to say, I can rise above my challenges. I can rise above my difficulties. So it's great to share with you this morning the important role of grandmother historically, and to recognize a historic grandmother, the grandmother of the only black grandmother who had gone to the White House to live, and that is the mother of former First Lady Michelle Obama, and that is Marion Robinson. We salute you today, Mrs. Robinson, for the role you played. Thank you very much, everyone.